Hello there. This is Mila Espina and Speechcom Sparklers. Well, last time we had an enjoyable moment talking about verbal and nonverbal communication patterns, and we also talked about the importance of smile. It's your first step to make people look at you and listen to you. But before we do that, before we go to verbal communication patterns, you know very well that the voice dynamics is very important and the different parts of your speech mechanism are very vital to be able to pronounce the words properly. But we will go to that later on. Now, I know you do TikTok, you exercise, but do you exercise your tongue? The tongue is supposed to be the tip of articulation. And sometimes they say, oh, I cannot pronounce the vowel sounds because my tongue is hard, it's not very pliable, and it's hard tongue. I have a cure there. Sometimes I do a lot of exercising my tongue by twisting my tongue. But I twist my tongue for a good cause. Listen to some of the tongue twisting exercises I usually do with my students. The words there do not mean anything. You just put them together, jam it all together, just to be able to see how swiftly your tongue can move from left, side, upper, lower. Listen to this. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck would? He would chuck the wood as much as he could and chuck as much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck would. But still, that's not enough. To be able to find out how you can maintain your breathing dynamics, you do it a little faster. How much wood would the woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck would? He would chuck the wood as much as he could and chuck as much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck would. You see? A big black Bobby, the big black bear at the end of his big black nose. Fast, they do not mean really a single or a solid meaning, but what is important is you are able to make your tongue pliable and they can move very swiftly from one sound to the other. Okay, speaking of voice dynamics, do you know that there are certain parts of our voice mechanism which are very important in being able to come up with a beautiful speaking voice or a very beautiful conversational voice? Sometimes when we're too nervous, we go high pitch. We can reach the sky with a very high pitch, especially when you're excited. Some pitches are also very low, very monotonous. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So it becomes very drab. And some may just be average, but there is no variety. So we say that the speech mechanism and the voice dynamics are the first tools in being able to come up with a very dynamic voice power toward verbal communication. Look for your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is here actually, here, there. Be sure you have it. If you don't have it, it's factory defect. Actually, it's the diaphragm that will push the air out, passing through your trachea or air column and through your throat. I'm using the layman's term, to your lips. And when you open your lips, you have a very flawless voice power. Okay, so much for that. We'll have more of this. But I received some comments, very good comments, and thank you very much. They texted me. My number is 0917-320-7088. And one said, I have a problem sometimes. I don't know how to greet the people. You call that stage protocol, where when you're on stage, when you are meeting somebody in person, I really don't know whether I will use sir, madam, or what. I'm facing a king, an ambassador. What is the best ethics or protocol that I should use? Well, from my readings, I could probably suggest some, but that would be limited to a certain point based on the culture, the politics, and the ethics of a certain country represented by a person. This is my book. I call it FCOM, Effective Communication, where so many things that you might be very interested to know are here. All you have to do is you can text me if there's something you would like me to help you. It's 0917-320-7088. Or you can do the Facebook. So meanwhile, I would like to answer one of my readers and one of my viewers saying that, could you help me at least give me some basic protocol ethics? So we pause for a while and I'll give it to you.
A few moments later.
There you are. I hope my friend Filipinas Lucas, who texted me and requested for that, enjoyed that short video. And if you want to know more, just text me 0917-320-7088, or you can put your comments just below and I will faithfully read all of them. Well, what you saw really are just, how do you call that? Preview of social usage, which we are going to also have later on. As I said, when we talk about communication, that would involve social and business usage and some other related conversational English patterns. I also would like to tell you that a very interesting portion of my program is life. And you know, life is so varied. There's so many interesting things happening to your life, to my life, and I would like to share some of them, particularly success stories, experiences that you cannot forget, travels which are memorable to you. I feel that this is the time to talk about it. Sometimes we become too serious with what we read about politics, about our COVID dilemma, which we cannot ignore, but there are times that we just have to unwind a little bit and probably look at the more positive and better side of life. And I'm here to help you out. Now, another interesting thing probably, we will be going into common errors in grammar, and my, that would be a lot. Most of my students in the past were Cebuano students, and there is this habit of translating directly from the native tongue to English. For those who are not Cebuano, those who are Tagalogs may not be able to understand or fathom what I would say. But then we had a neighbor before, and this lady, a Cebuano, was married to an American. Every evening they would quarrel. And one of those times, the American said, you know, I can't bear you anymore. One of these days I'm gonna leave you. And the Cebuano said, do not afraid me. Which is the Cebuano way of saying, ay kuhadlo ka. Sa Tagalog, wag mo akong takutin. So you see the direct translation from English to your dialect. Could be a problem. But I think that American has been used to the love of his life, so he understood what she was talking about. In fact, when we start talking about grammar or phonology, I would always say you don't have to sound like an American to be able to learn American English. You don't have to have the intonation of an American. Well, an American say, how are you? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful morning. You don't have to talk that way. You don't have to sound British. Drop your R and say, Peter, how are you? Where is mother? Where is father? If you are not at home with it, all you need is to speak the Philippine standard of English, which is acceptable all over the world, using the lingua franca, which is American English.
Meanwhile.
Another linguistic dilemma that we would be discussing is what you call code switching. You know, we combine the local and the English words. Lab na lab kita, let's go, late na ta. You mix English, Tagalog, or Visayan and you call that code switching. It's not good because if you are talking with people who may not understand what you're talking about, they will really get lost in your conversation. Well, I think we had a lot during this session. Don't forget, we'll have more. And if there's a topic you would like me to share with you, don't hesitate. We have the comments down below or 0917-320-7088. Let's be friends in the Facebook. I think that's what this program is all about. And if there's a success story you would like to share with me, well, why not? Because as I said, life is how you make it. So, this is Mila Espina, Speech Comes Sparkle, and don't forget to subscribe. See you later.